Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar day. Today, we're going to be talking about why AI assistants will do what your website and chatbot can't. I'm Anya Chrysanthemum. I'm the Chief Communications Officer here at Anewgo. And presenting today is Anewgo CEO, John Lee.
Hey guys,
We also have our VP of Sales, Beth Bird, who is going to be adding some commentary at the end if we have some time. Now, we do have a lot to get through today, so I would encourage you all to chat, ask questions. We may not get to all the questions today, but I will be addressing them separately, maybe in a different session or through blogs. So please feel free to chat. I will monitor that. We are recording today's session, so I will be sending that over to you as soon as possible. And with that, John, please take it away.
great. Thanks, Anya. Hey, let's get rolling here because, AI is moving fast and we got a lot to cover today. So what we want to get started with here is the AI marketing and sales revolution. It actually started, 3 years to the month here, in November 2022 when ChatGPT came out and kind of blew up the whole world there. And ever since then, you've seen a whole new slew of LLM, large language model AIs. Everybody has them now. And now we're at the point of going from those simple prompts and generative AI to actually a customer journey. So, when generative AI came out, it really didn't really affect the businesses as much. It really with the customer journey, it really affected just the marketing people because they were able to generate, content multimodally, visual and textual. Probably don't need to go through all that again, but it really helped marketing improve the way they can attract and engage the audience with content. 2025 here has been the year of agentic AI. I think most of you already heard about this. It's almost year's almost over, but agentic AI is now going from that top of the funnel, attracting the audience to now taking buyers down a personalized customer journey because when you start shopping, it becomes very personal. And this is where marketing starts to meet sales. And the way it's actually extended is you're going beyond that content, which attracted and engaged the audience, to now a channel because people are moving down a customer journey. What's coming up here and is actually moving very quickly here, especially with the new versions of AI that have come out with ChatGPT and Gemini 3 lately, is you're starting to move to this era of artificial general intelligence. And the big difference there with AGI is the AI is starting to learn and starting to react and interact on its own. Before it was pre-trained. That's why it's generative pre-trained transformer GPT. Now AI has started to learn from all the interactions that have happened. And that's going to open up AI commerce. So as you start to move down this customer shopping journey, it's ultimately going to end up in a checkout. You can see that's happening with Gemini. You've seen that's happening with ChatGPT because they've been working with Walmart, just announced with Target and Shopify. And obviously, Amazon's already started that out with Claude and Rufus on their site. So it's going to move to entire customer journey of AI commerce. And what's end up going to happening is instead of having a shopping cart that's native to just that website or that channel, you're going to have a buyer's portal that basically shops across multiple channels. And that's where we're going to introduce AI concierges. Concierge is different from a regular AI assistant, is that concierge can execute tasks on your behalf. All right. That was a great start. A lot to go here. This customer journey evolution has, it's actually started, 20 years ago with AI bots. Well, I would say AI bots. They had some intelligence, but it's more algorithmic. It wasn't really personalized. And the whole point of that was a handoff. It was human to human handoffs. It was using your search engine, which take you from, say, your Google search page to uh, a website, or from a portal like Realtor.com or Zillow to a website. And it was really not only handing you off across channels, but it was handing you off across different people, like salespeople. You could go to your OSC, online sales counselor, to ultimately your salesperson. Now, what's happening this year is with AI assistants, now the buyer will have an AI assistant that it's working with, and it could be on the buyer side, whereas the buyer's assistant, right at the top of the funnel, if you want to call that, or start of the journey, or it could be at the builder's website, which then it's a sales assistant. And the difference there is now you're going from human to AI, and the AI is not handing you off necessarily, it's hand holding you throughout that online customer shopping journey. What's going to happen now in the future with AGI is you're going to have the development of AI agents. The difference between an agent and an assistant is the assistant is not really executing the task for you, but the agents are doing things on your behalf, similar to like other agents, whether it's travel agents, real estate agents. They're working on your behalf and they can work on behalf of the buyer and the seller. So if you see my little chart up there, I put a little star there next to those AI bots because they've been kind of deputized to kind of work on your behalf. And so that's going to be an A to A environment. And that's where the human buyer and seller hands over to the AI buyer and sales agent before the humans meet. Now, if this whole journey evolves, what's going to end up happening is it's going to start to go backwards here. And backwards is kind of actually forward. The AI agents will start the shopping for you. So it's going to be AI to AI talking to each other. And, that's because you delegated that responsibility for it to go shop across all the builders' websites to find the right home and community. And then the second step will be the AI and the human talking, but that's after the AI has already found and curated the right places to shop. And then ultimately you'll get back to that human to human um, interaction, which is still critical in this obviously very complex and expensive purchase. So what does that look like? Uh, in the old days, some of you still doing this with bots, you have a search bar and you put in your keywords there. Now that takes you into the website. The problem with the website is you see a lot of footprints. Google doesn't tell you who they are. But the crazy thing is now for a lot of websites, 70, 80% of their traffic is actually from bots. And those bots are the ones crawling your website. So they're kind of like phantom shoppers, but you don't really want them there, but you actually want them there because they're the ones that are feeding AI. And frankly, if they stop coming, that means that your site is not as attractive to them. They may make their rounds once a year instead of once a month. And then obviously at the end, you have the conversation between in humans between the buyer and the seller. Now, what's happening with AI assistants is the buyer has utilized a buyer's assistant there. It's going beyond a prompt. It's going to a conversation. And, they're really trying to spell out what their needs, wants, and desires are. And so after the buyer's assistant has um, convinced or persuaded the buyer that this is a great website to go to, the buyer's assistant will accompany the buyer into that conversation on that website. The buyer can still navigate on their own, so there'll still be traffic on your website, but your website as a builder may also need a sales assistant to interact with the buyer and their buyer's AI assistant. And then ultimately, it will still come down to the human to human conversation. But I think not too far away from here, everybody, whether you're the buyer or the seller, is going to have an AI assistant helping you in your job, in your search. And then ultimately, we're talking about AI agents. This is where your AI agents are working on behalf of you day and night, searching for you, have it ready for you, first thing in the morning when you have your cup of coffee, all the matching homes, plans, communities, all the things that are shopping on behalf of you is it could be already scheduling tours, it could be saving some favorites for you to look at. It could be asking a set of questions that you want to ask every builder, but you don't have to contact every builder. That's where the AI agents working on behalf of you right from the onset. Then for the ones that actually go to for the buyers that actually go to the builder's website, they will continue to accompany you there because you're a trusted AI agent for them. And it may also work with an AI agent on the seller side which may also be accompanied by the salesperson. So salespeople may start to move more and more online as their AI sales assistant guides them there. And then ultimately, there will be probably transactions that will happen agentically, which may go beyond the closing transaction, but maybe the AI agent is shopping your mortgage, shopping your insurance, helping you with utility connections. So it's AI agent talking to AI agents in other domains. We're not going to get too much into AI agents, but just a little glimpse into the future. One of the big differences with AI agents is it has two major roles. It's going to be a matchmaker and a playmaker. A matchmaker means that obviously buyers are shopping builders, but as a matchmaker, the AI may help the builder shop the buyers. So the builder may say, "Hey, this is the ideal client I'm looking for. I need them to. They're looking for a home within 3 months. They're looking for this size home or this location or these options, and I don't really want to talk to anybody else that doesn't match that, and then vice versa for obviously the buyer. So AI being working on both sides of it, almost like a brokerage, can actually be the great matchmaker. Maybe your trash is your competitor's treasure, and your competitor's treasure is trash is your treasure. So that's a great matchmaking. In the role of a playmaker, the AI buyer's agent is no longer just listening to your prompts, it's listening to your commands. And so what happens is you will have your AI personal buyer's agent, and it's going to shop and speak to all the other AI sales agents. And the way you actually speak to it, instead of going to every app and opening it up and logging in and going through all the features and functions and all that stuff, you're just going to speak like a human. Get me a ride to the airport and push my Zoom meeting back an hour, order our favorite pizza for home delivery at 6 and notify my family. And are there any movie recommendations? So what's happening is your AI is now working with all the other AI agents in all these apps that you're normally working with. But the reason it's able to work from your command is because it knows you. It knows where the airport is, knows which airport you're at. It knows that you're in the Eastern time zone. So for your Zoom meeting, it knows your favorite pizza taste. It knows who your family is. It knows where to deliver it. It knows what movies you watched last and what kind of movies you like. That's where the AI becomes super intelligent. So, but we're not going to talk about that yet. Hopefully next year. Back to the AI buyer's assistant. This is where things are happening very quickly. A couple of months ago, Perplexity, some of you may know Perplexity as that they call themselves as an answer engine, not just a search engine. They introduced a smart browser, Comet. Okay, and that's what I actually have up here on the right. And a month after that, our favorite ChatGPT introduced their smart browser, which is Atlas. Okay, and if you guys don't know what a browser is, it's like you're using Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and they've all gotten smart as well. But these two, because they started out with AI, they are AI native browsers. Okay, so what's happening there is now when you go to any website, an AI assistant from that browser is appended as a side panel next to your website. Nothing that you did, nothing you can actually opt out of or opt into. It's just there. Okay. And so these smart browsers changes the entire conversation literally because it actually introduces a new marketing channel, and that's a conversation channel. And conversations normally in your sales journey happens at the end, not at the beginning. But when now that conversation is happening at the beginning of your shopping journey, that's actually bringing sales to the top of the funnel. This is where you're starting to see that convergence of marketing and sales, similar to what Amazon has done for 2 decades. You know, you're doing marketing and sales and transaction all online in e-commerce, but now it's just now become intelligent. So the nice thing about it is now as a buyer shopping your unmanned store, whether it's human or AI, it now has a buyer's agent that can help them understand what's in your store and give it some context. The problem is if you only have a buyer's AI assistant, which you had no input into, no control into, it represents the buyer's interests, and it does a great job. It brings the buyer to your website, probably curated, but you don't get to speak on your behalf. So like here's a question I asked, this is Perplexity's AI assistant in comment. Who are other builders with similar homes and communities in Holly Springs, North Carolina? Because the fact of the matter is, buyers aren't just shopping you and only going to buy from you. They're going to shop other people as they're shopping you. And so, as a buyer's agent, just like if you have a buyer's real estate agent, they're going to be more objective. They're going to say, hey, here are other builders with similar homes and communities in Holly Springs, North Carolina, Toller Brothers, Davidson Homes, D.R. Horton, and goes through all their lists. And they may actually use you as a starting point to actually divert to somebody else that sounds better. All right. You don't want that. Um, so what we want to do, just like if you had a store in the real world, in the physical world, you're not going to leave your store unmanned, which is kind of crazy that all the websites have unmanned stores for all these years, nobody representing to them. And then you basically walk in and have to figure out the aisles and the products all yourself. Now you can have a AI sales assistant that's not just there to man the store, but it's intelligently guiding the buyer's customer journey. So what you need to do that, you need to create smart websites. And basically now your website has an AI sales assistant that is also in that conversation channel, and it's appended to your website, similar to the buyer's agent, smart browser approach. And now your channel is actually more than just a traditional channel of funneling. There's actually like two definitions for channel. Channel is like channeling something in some direction. It's very one directional. It's very pushing somebody to go somewhere. Not all your customers should really be pushed. The other definition of channel is the channel that you're communicating on, just like in the old days with walkie-talkies and CB radios and even TVs. That's the way you communicate. And this conversation channel allows that channel to be a bi-directional conversation, which is much better in persuading your customers. What an AI sales assistant will do, enable the buyers and the builders to do, is to have a personalized marketing and sales experience at a massive scale online. Basically, we're doing to e-commerce what Facebook has done to social, which is personalization at a massive scale online. You get a personalized experience with just your friends and family and your interests. Now we're trying to take that same technology and apply it in an intelligent way to your shopping experience. And just to give you some definitions, as this is probably a whole new channel for you guys, when we say conversation, a conversation is actually comprised of dozens of messages. So we may have one conversation with each other, but we're going to have like 20 interactions of messages. The beautiful thing about these messages are, one, they're open-ended, so you're not falling down this chatbot decision tree of quizzes, which sometimes I call it the indecision tree, because you actually don't come up with a final decision. You actually have to be handed off again, like those old bots, handed off to someone else to actually answer your question, which kind of defeats the purpose. These messages are open-ended, they're persistent. That means that when you come back later, 2 hours later, after you give it some more thought, you can start where you left off. Okay. It's also streamed. Everybody's into streaming now. You want to watch your content the way you want to watch it, when you want to watch it, and how you want to watch it in personalized ways. And the way it's personalized is it has to have memory. So we're bringing that persistence and that streaming and that memory in a unchartered conversation thread. The other part about the AI messaging is marketing is all about messaging, right? But we've been doing one broad message, one generic message to everyone, and it's very basic. Um, if people are now having 20, 30, 40 messages in their conversations, each one of those messages is an opportunity for you using AI because you physically, financially, whatever, technically can't even do it yourself. So every automated personalized message is actually an opportunity for that marketing message to really hone into them personally and to also help them find their right, homes, community plans, options, lifestyle, whatever. And the way this happens, and this is kind of a little screenshot of just the AI buyer's agent conversation channel. It's all new terms here. At the top there, you can actually have a conversation with someone anonymously. It's just like you go to Home Depot. They don't ask for your driver's license to talk to you. You can talk anonymously, which is, helps out with some privacy, helps out with some, comfort level and all that stuff. But if you want to save your preferences and you're coming back and you want to start kind of where you left off with all your settings, you may want to register. Okay. So now if you register, now in our AI, we get called her Robin. Robin will greet you. Hi, John. The other thing that the AI can do is in that dynamic conversation channel versus your static and generic website channel, it can provide those links and buttons and prompts to allow you to navigate your website. We're not using this to replace your website. We're using this to supplement the capabilities of your website. And it's also doing this multimodally. So you can see it. It also gives it to you in text so you can read it. It can also show it visually because that's pictures with 1,000 words, especially when it's your home. And it can also, if you hit that microphone button, you can actually speak to it. And I want to give you examples of all that, but we're going to move quick here. Here are some smart website advantages. Now you have a sales agent that's representing you as the builder, your brand and your interests. It promotes it, not just represents you. So instead of just having the buyer's agent saying, "Hey, look at all these other places down the street," this is a real example here, and I give it little gold stars when it does well. Who are other builders with similar homes and communities in Holly Springs, North Carolina? Okay, Robin's response. Well, I can't provide information on other builders. I'm here to share details about our wonderful offerings here in Holly Springs, specifically at Blue Jay Woods. And it's another gold star there because that link will take you to that Blue Jay Woods community. So if you like what I'm talking about, it'll take you there. And part of that gold star is it also talks about the amenities there, which the outside agent may not talk about. This community offers fantastic amenities, including a clubhouse, fitness center, walking trails, and a pool. And another gold star. If you want to explore more, so it's inviting you, you can or see available floor plans. Here are links to provide you, how to get there. And it also pulls up a Google map because location is so important. So that's another gold star. And it also has the next step. So the AI has the intelligence of knowing where the buyer is in their customer journey and what things they may want to continue on with without having to type it in. So like find my home or explore the area or FAQs or learn, maybe, what is new construction. So I just typed in there because I want to show you it's also open-ended. Do you have any incentives for quick move-in homes? So this is where you're going off the AI's navigation path to the buyer's directed journey. And over here on the right here, I show you the response. Robin shows a gold star, that quick move-in home, the address. You can have a link to that page for that quick move-in home. And it also offers it talks about all those quick move-in uh, incentives and promotions. So you can see how you want to have a sales assistant represent you. So what are some of the features of an AI sales assistant? One, it's not one for all, but it's all for everyone. You can customize it. You can put give it your own name. You can give it, you obviously represent your brand. You can give it your own sales protocol. Like, you have a certain process or certain things you say or handoffs. You can have it learn certain skills. It's also becoming a personal concierge. Because of the IP address, it knows where they're coming from. So you can greet the buyer, good afternoon, good morning, or whatever. It could also, obviously greet them if they know their name, if they save their preferences, and it also can curate those responses. Nobody wants to go back from step one every time. They want that Netflix experience. I've been here, I've already looked at this, start where I left off in that conversation from 2 months ago. It also works as a guide. It's not just talking about the products, it's directing you and accompanying you to the page that it's taking you to. It's and along with that is that usher. It takes you to that buyer's web page that they're interested in. It's not just a guide and a usher, but it's also a waiter. It brings that content to you. So sometimes you just want to sit in your conversation channel and not really navigate the site. It can bring those images, those maps, those answers right into your conversation. Um, because it's multi-talented, it's multimodal, it's multilingual, speaks dozens of languages. It can go not just on your website channel, any channel that's on a website address. So it could be your sales center, it could be a portal, it could be anything that has it's on the web. It's also multi-session because of the persistency. And ultimately, it will be collaborative, not just because I want to bring my wife, which is smart, into the conversation, but maybe the AI sales assistant or maybe the salesperson. So it could be a collaborative purchase because a collaborative experience because it's a collaborative purchase. The other thing about an AI assistant, it's not limited to just your website. There's much more to selling a house than what's on your website. It can access the open web. So the open web could be like anything outside your website. You may want to pick a location and talk about, hey, what's the lifestyle there? What's the climate? What's the economy? What's the interest rate? What's the education, demographics, healthcare, whatever buttons you're in there, it's able to pull that information in real time and currently to the conversation, into the conversation. It could also expand the knowledge beyond the website. Some things you don't want to share to everybody on your website. Sometimes you only want to share when they're at a certain stage in the shopping process. So you can upload documents. Some people are familiar with that with ChatGPT. So I just have some examples here. Special upgrades, interest buy downs, inventory promotions, warranties, energy efficiencies, schools, HOAs, your timeline, construction, customization, whatever documents you have, spreadsheets, videos, whatever, you upload it and it's fed into her brain. Now, there are some limitations to AI sales systems, but it's really based on what the builders will limit it to, just like anything else, any humans. If these are obstacles, if you iframe a lot of your content, that iframe is a third-party site. So the AI may not be able to access that or even know to go outside that box. Um, that doesn't just hurt your AI sales assistant, but it also hurts AI AIO, just to be able to find you because it can't find that content that's not part of your domain easily. If you gate the content, the AI doesn't isn't going to throw in passwords and try to, figure out how to get in there. It just maybe just bypass you. Also, if your data and your content isn't tagged, it doesn't have data tags or schema. You just have a picture there, or you call it the Cinderella plan or the Barbie plan. It doesn't know what that is, except that the movies it's watched. So you need to give it context. It's a craftsman. It's, has 4 bedrooms or whatever. The way we built it is it's available across all devices, mobile and desktop. It's across all the browsers, whether you're just a smart browser or just a traditional dumb browser, and also other websites. So what it's doing is it's learning from your website all the content and then supplementing that with your, the web and your uploaded documents. We can go into that later on, but that's basically the main features. How do we make a dumb website smart with AI? Um, Obviously add that AI sales assistant. But one of the big differences is the traditional website is great for catering to humans. And right now, 100% of the people who are shopping are humans. But later on, when people start to have AI assistants shopping for them or directing where to shop, you're going to need to appeal to uh, AI shoppers. So right now, all your content was really geared for search engine optimization, and that's really built around text, which is keywords. And websites, it's basically a digital version of the old newspapers from 20 years ago. That's why you call them browsers and pages and scrolling. We're going to go from the classified ads of keywords to not just have text, but to have context. And this is where you start to move from SEO to AIO, which is AI optimization, or AEO, which is ask engine optimization, because now buyers are going to ask questions and you need to respond in a conversational way. And it's also going to change the orientation of how you market. Instead of just marketing your brand and your products and your specifications about me, it's about you. It's about the buyers expressing their needs, their wants, and their constraints. And to be able to do that, your content and your channel has to change. It cannot be just a generic static message and product for everyone. It needs to be personalized and interactive, so that as the conversation evolves, so does what you show and where you take them. And then traditional websites, it's really basically come here. And I know you came here through a search engine, but there's no search engine here. And just go walk around the store and figure it out. And so you see all this traffic, and everybody thinks, oh, wow, that's great. They're walking all over the place. No, they're lost. The way you really know where if they're really happy there and they found what they're looking for is to have that conversation. And so you're introducing that conversation channel. But another little secret about getting into AIO, because you want to get AI to recognize you, is because we use AI in your sales agent, we're actually creating a back channel. That back channel is allowing ChatGPT to actually see that there's a conversation going on and learning about you. So some of the big features of differences between a traditional dumb website and a smart website, and I say smart just because it has intelligence, is one, after hours engagement. You have a lot of misleads because nobody's manning the store. I mean, frankly, it's not manning in 24 hours, but it's not even managing it at all because there's nobody there. So you're missing leads. Now you have 24/7 capturing of those leads. The response time, instead of hours and days to follow up, you're actually getting instant. The days of CRM follow up is going to follow along. You should not be following up after somebody drives away from your store. You should be driving them toward the aisle while they're in your store. And so that changed the whole search experience. Instead of having these manual filters that you have to go find, and especially complicated on mobile devices, you just having a conversation. Just bring what I'm looking for to me. I don't need to go and read filters and scroll and hit click buttons and all that stuff. Lead qualification totally changes. Instead of having forms to fill out, you're just tracking what they're doing. They're telling you what they want. You don't need to give them a questionnaire. Scalability, you're limited by your staff manning. This is unlimited. Instead of one person talking to one person, this is one AI talking to 10,000 people simultaneously. This is an interesting slide. This is where I see there's a whole symphony of what marketers are going to have to do. They're going to have to appeal to both the entire audience of humans and robots. And you're going to have to be making it all content, making them all content. But at the same time, it's a little play on words, you have to make all your content this way. It needs to be visual, textual, and audio, voice. And that's going to require probably a new position evolving to become an AI conductor of how to get all that content in place to make everyone content. And then how do you disseminate that? Because um, AI is really left side of the brain, right? Very rational, analytical, and it's really focused on data, where humans are more, um, right side of the brain and marketing general. They don't know what they like. I mean, they don't know what it's called, but they know what they like when they see it. So for AI, what attracts them is data. Data attracts the AI audience. It gets them there. Okay. And if you know anything about marketing right now, the way everything from SEO to AIO, they're looking at your site to be validated on, do you have experience in what you're doing? Do you have expertise? I mean, are you basically, are you credible? Does other sites concur with you? Do you get good reviews? People talk about you. Are you an authority? And are you trustworthy? You're not some fake site. You're not just fly by night. Um, but for humans, you have to appeal to not just all that stuff on the left, the AI's eyes. You have to appeal to human eyes. And the human eyes is actually more than just the eyes. It's all your senses because the senses is what engages the human audience. Marketing is about attracting an engagement. AI is now what's going to attract you with data. I mean, data is what's going to attract AI. um, on the human side, what you're going to have to do to engage the audience to keep them there is the same EEAT, but different words. It's not the experience, it's the experiences. You need to provide them rich experience, interactive experiences. And the more senses that you bring to the conversation, whereas visual, voice, textual, it helps them communication, but it also helps the next thing, emotions. You, One thing humans still have over AI is we have emotions. So you need to tap into that emotional quotient, empathy, sympathy, understanding, assistance, things like that. And that's used through the senses again. It's not just that you're an authority. People also want to see that you're authentic. So authenticity is going to be a very important factor that you're going to bring in your conversation. And it's not just that you're a trustworthy business. They also want you to back that up. Are you transparent? Do you show me the data I want? Are you hiding things? Are you locking me out? Are you baiting me along? That transparency thing is going to be key. So you need to make all parties content, and AI can be a big part of that. So how does this all happen? Because it seems like nothing's been happening for 3 years in a sense. It's actually, and I'm not saying to drink a beer, but I keep using this term IPA, and it's just like the beer. Just when you drink it, it's actually a lot of things that went into getting all the hops and all the barley and everything. So we had to build that structure, and that infrastructure was data collection, data structuring, and data training. So we spent years building that foundation for this platform, which is a P, which is that foundation model. So now that it has that, it needs to have this AI ecosystem to now, take advantage of it. Just like ChatGPT started out in 2016, but it wasn't until 6 years later, after all that training and all that data collection, that it was actually having a foundation model to be able to work with. But ultimately for the consumers, it gets to the A, which is the applications. It doesn't matter about all that stuff if it doesn't apply to us and it doesn't help us run our business better. And now today is when we're introducing applications because it's taken us 3 years to get here, and now we're starting with AI assistants, and now we're going to move to AI agents. Now, how do you how do you create AI sales assistants? And these are essentials. I call it my TNT because I have a dynamite AI team, and it really requires two elements: technology and training. You can build all the technology in the world, but just like humans, if you don't have training, it's worthless. You wouldn't just grab anybody off the streets and man your store. You need to train them. So with technology, we're utilizing generative and agentic AI, which is GPT, which has already been pre-trained, and then the AI answer engine, which is pulling real-time information. It needs to be multimodal because humans like to use all their senses. Um, and it needs to be both AI to human and AI to AI. And it needs to have that conversational memory like we talked about. But in terms of training, we have a very unique, complex industry. So it needs to be specially trained on our industry. What it's learned, from what I can tell, just scraping builders' websites, is very shallow. So we had to give it in-depth training on how the real customer new home shopping journey is, and that's learning about the marketing and sales. And then it doesn't matter unless it can achieve the business goal. So we have to teach it about business, and it's actually taught us a lot. So what I had to do here, in addition to creating technology, I actually had to create a new homes AI Academy. And it's actually called 4A because it's my new 4A. I made a new goal of it with a 4A here. But it's not just a little cutesy name. It's actually 4A.ai. You can go there. But 4AI, the reason it's called that because I thought, hey, if one AI brain is smart, why not use four? So I got ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity to work together as a team. And so they not only help each other because I've realized that they all have different strengths and weaknesses, but they also are good checks on each other, and they're all keep kind of improving on each other, their own different model versions. So what's the curriculum when they graduate? They should get a degree in real estate marketing and sales and even languages. I've created also a syllabus, and that's using that IPA catered platform approach to each website type. So whether you have a website built by us or somebody else or WordPress, it can now have a training program, a syllabus that's geared around utilizing that website platform. And naturally, the professors, we have a team of humans and AI. So you got the four AI professors, but we also are working with some industry experts that may be able to contribute their knowledge into it. And so what we'll offer here in the end is kind of like a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a PhD. And I parlay that into what I call et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The bachelor's degree is just that basic education of, hey, here's how, generally how I sell the products and, um, very, very simple, kind of, grade above the chatbots in a sense. But the master's program is where we get some of these sales training experts in here to infuse their knowledge in there. And so it can improve the protocol, the process, the handoff to a human salesperson. The PhD part is if you really want to now have an expertise in a lot of fields, even going into legal or accounting or insurance or whatever, or particular business problems. All those are available as the AI particularly gets smarter and smarter. So this is really how this is built now. This is not some funny little thing. How our AI team runs your website store. So using my different AIs, and there's actually a couple of other AIs I use that you may not be familiar with. Claude is my general manager of my new Home Depot store, if you want to call it that. He's responsible for the strategy and web stored management. He knows how to structure the website right. He knows the way the traffic and the business should run. The analyst there, Gemini, he's great at because he's known the World Wide Web for a long time. He's able to bring all the business and economic analysis also with its notebook LM and all this deep research, and he has all the internet connections. My external marketing person there is Perplexity. He's the one that, or he or she, I don't even know what to call it. She goes out and gets all the information about the World Wide Web, the interest rates, the current trends, and it's able to bring that into a marketing way to market to the buyers as they're shopping, right? And it's also doing that in real time with current weather, current interest rates, and in multimodal. It can bring in pictures, it can bring in videos. Um, we also have obviously our sales manager, ChatGPT down there at the bottom. She's the one she's been trained and customized for your brand, your style, your sales process, product knowledge, and she's also multilingual. So all those languages over there on the right, I think there's like 30 or 40 available, but I've only picked 20. I think that's more than enough. That's using AI from 11 Labs. So they have all these different voices and accents that I can choose from. And so I'm using all these AI's brains and using 11 Labs voice that I've selected, and you can select it with whoever you want. And then I have some like a warehouse manager, Puppeteer. Puppeteer is an AI that goes and looks at your entire or it looks at your website content and is able to give a real search engine read on what's currently available, not just what's been there for years or months pre-trained. And then the stock person there, Cheerio just goes in there and he just grabs the current page, so it's very quick, versus somebody who's managing the warehouse and has to go out and pull a lot of stuff out. Anyway, just trust me, that's how it works. And it all that comes together instantly in the AI sales assistant, which you can have whatever picture or avatar you want. So I'm going to take a break here. Well, I'm going to actually show you a video here. So this is an AI guided journey. This is where the AI is leading the conversation because sometimes buyers, they don't know how to shop for homes. And so what happens is, like I said earlier, based on the IP address you're shopping from, it knows, hey, like it's afternoon over there. So it's saying good afternoon, I'm Robin or whatever. There's a lot of way you can start your journey, especially if you're coming back for a third or fourth time. Maybe you don't need to shop the communities, you don't need to shop the plan or something, but maybe it's the first time you're coming in, you just want to learn about new construction. So there's like four main buttons there, or you want to just explore the area first. But I'm just going to narrow it down to the two main areas, communities and plans. So here you go. If you shop by communities, and this is in real time here, and you can actually go to anewgohomes.com and try this out. So what's happening is as whatever button you click on, it's kind of like a chatbot. It leads to the next logical set of choices afterwards. So if you're saying North Carolina, okay, what cities in North Carolina? Holly Springs. Now, when it pulls that up, it will show you the communities in Holly Springs and with links that goes there along with the map. And then if you say Blue Jay Woods, now you may be interested in the plans there. So it's going through and I'm sorry, Puppeteer is going back there and pulling out all those homes from the warehouse to present in front of you. Now, if you actually want to go to Blue Jay Woods, you can also go into your website. This is on a mobile device, but on the desktop, you will see on the website on your left how it takes you there. And then you can also ask, this is where it's looking at information from outside. This is where Perplexity has gone out there and pulled in information about the area. And if you ask about quick move-in homes, again, it's going in there and it's extracting data. So all these different AIs are working in concert to give you the information, take you to the right places, answer your questions, through navigation, or open-ended questions. What we don't want them to do is to have the entire experience in the conversation channel. We still want them to navigate, explore your website, and design their homes, but we want them to be able to get there quicker and more informed. So this is the way that you can shop by communities. All this data is happening in real time. I didn't go in there and type in a script for any of that stuff. It's all done by AI, not you and I. If you want to shop by plans, instead of going through all these filters, it actually brings the filters to you. So on the mobile device, you just touch, 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 and you're going through square footage, what kind of architectural style, what kind of features you're looking for. And so as you're doing this, it's kind of like Facebook. As you're collecting stuff, the information is being sorted together below what you see. And so it says these are all your selections. And now when you hit Find My Home, this is all happening in real time. It identifies all the things you want and it puts in bold all the matching features along with bullet points of all the features for that home and links to those communities or those plans. So it's a quick way to find it and then go to what you're looking for. Almost done here.
Hey, John, can I insert a question?
Okay,
We
for y'all
have,
get okay, hurry up.
okay, from the audience a minute ago. Lindsay asked, do multiple AI teams increase or decrease hallucination rates, having so many different AI working
It's
together?
just like having a team. If I didn't have all you guys around me to guide me, I would be making wrong decisions. So what happens is they double check each other. And sometimes when they didn't do a good job, I take them out. I took Gemini out for a while and now he's back in because, with Gemini 3, he's a little smarter. So in a sense, they're kind of like my employees. And one crazy thing is everything you've seen there was all built by AI, just me and AI. And so I have a whole AI production team, and I'll show you how it analyzes itself in a second because
Yeah,
it grades itself.
thank you.
Good question. Now, obviously, if we're just having the AI navigate, you don't have much control. So the buyer wants open-ended questions, right? So they just want to ask whatever they want. Um, and so this is where the buyer directs the shopping journey, and they can just ask what they want. I'm going to show you just different examples, and these are real answers. You can just type in whatever you want on your own. But one of the things that I actually have to teach AI is almost what not to say. So it says, "Can you give me medical or legal advice?" So Robin says, no, I cannot provide medical or legal advice. It's important to consult with a qualified professional in those fields for accurate and reliable guidance. So we want to make sure we don't go down a rabbit hole. But here's an example. Why should I buy a new instead of a used home? you don't really explain this in your website because it's too much stuff to put in there. But sometimes some people may just want to ask that. You don't want to lose them to go somewhere else. So you can take an external inquiry and then it gives a curated response. And then from that curated response, we still want to guide them down a shopping journey. So you say, find my home, explore the area, FAQs or learn. So, why should I buy a new home? Customization, personalization, modern features. You can read all that. Another thing is, do you have communities near Costco in Raleigh, North Carolina? There are people that will shop based on points of interest. And so what AI needs to know, it has a GPS coordinate for every point of interest, right? And so it's making a distance measurement. So it says, yeah, absolutely. We have one near Costco in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it tells you your communities and it tells you the distance. So it can measure that distance and show it to you on the map. And then at the same time, it's throwing in a little bit of um, features about those communities that may be attractive and maybe relate to what types of people that shop at Costco maybe they would have families or whatever. And it would try to mention that based on its intelligence. So what it does there is it answers it and it provides matches. It gives the distances to those communities. It gives descriptions. It gives page links because you want them to go to the right place on the website. And it also gives maps for reference. Another question, what communities in Raleigh have a clubhouse, open space, or a dog park? So now you're speaking it from amenity preferences. Because it knows all your amenities, it can now speak from that direction. And it also knows proximity location, because a lot of people say, oh, in Raleigh. But if you live here in Raleigh, there's so many different suburbs here. But if you're shopping from remote, you've never been here, you're just going to say Raleigh. But the AI knows to bring in proximity locations of communities that are near the metropolitan area. So it provides those matches, the descriptions, those page links and maps, like I said before. It gives the descriptions, and you can link right to Heron Haven or Blue Jay Woods. And it tries to describe, these communities are excellent for socializing, fitness, enjoying nature. Would you like to learn more? With some better sales training, it could even be even smarter. Here's another one. Here's some personal preferences. We have 3 kids and a dog. We want a good school system and be near parks. What communities around Raleigh would be a good match? That's a complex question. It requires your proximity, your information, your website, your uploaded documents, external information. But it's pulling all that together and trying to list those places. But because you specifically asked about schools, it's going to go into more details about schools. Here are the specific schools. Here are their ratings. You asked about amenities. Here are the specific amenities. And so it's trying to go where the buyer is leading them. Um, it also does great math. And it also can pull up the pricing and all that stuff. What's the price for the Bristol plan in Blue Jay Woods? And what would be the monthly payment at the current interest rate if I put down $200,000? So it's looking at your personal parameters and it's pulling up, hey, the Bristol plan, here's how much it is. If you put down much, here's how much the monthly payment is. So it's doing the math and it's still going to take you to the right product at the end because maybe once you pass that financial hurdle, you're ready to go to the next step. And so it offers those next step questions. Um, some people may say, hey, at the end of the day, this all sounds great, but what promotions or incentives are you offering? So this is tapping into that uploaded builder data that you have. And so it can say, hey, here's free $25,000 upgrade and all these other incentives. And it gives you those page links to go see the quick move in homes or the upgrades. Sometimes you may just have a general question about the economy in Mansfield, Texas. And so now it talks about that and you say, oh, okay, that sounds great. Now the next step is, do you have any quick move-in homes in Mansfield, Texas with incentives? So now it can show you the actual quick move-in homes with those incentives. Um, the other way of approaching it is a lot of people just have the location and the product options. So you have 4 bedrooms near Durham with an office or a study. So it's going through here. It's like I said, it's finding the locations and it says it has dedicated office space, but it's also identifying which plans have that and the maps and all that stuff. Another example is do you have around townhomes around Raleigh? So it knows the type of homes and you can give ranges, 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, whatever, to 3 baths. What happens is it'll list all the features and it'll bold type the ones that match. So you can kind of upsell as you're selling what they need. And I think the final one here is which plans in Canary Woods have a kitchen island? So you may have a specific um, feature, but you're looking at a specific community. So now I can tell you which plans in that community match that option that you require. Now we're talking. And I'm going to take a break here because I'm going to let AI do the talking because having text, having visuals is so great in communication and so great in eliciting emotion. But sometimes you're just on a mobile device and you just want to ask a question. You don't want to type it all out. So I'm going to let her talk.
Hi, I'm Robin, your AI assistant for Anewgo Homes. I'm here to help you find your dream home. You can say things like, find my home, quick move-ins, or just ask me anything.
Do you have any plans in Blue Jay Woods that has a gourmet kitchen?
That's a great question. I found 5 floor plans in Blue Jay Woods. The Bristol, Shepherd, and Shelby plans all feature a gourmet kitchen. The Bristol is a 4 bedroom plan starting from $671,000. The Shepherd is a 3 bedroom plan starting from $582,200. And the Shelby is a 4 bedroom plan starting from $845,700. Would you like to know more about any of those plans? Or perhaps search for homes with a gourmet kitchen in a different community?
Yeah, tell me more about the Bristol plan.
The Bristol plan is a beautiful single family home with 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and 2,929 square feet, starting from $671,000. Key features include a gourmet kitchen with a kitchen island, a cozy fireplace, a screened porch, and a 2-car garage. It also has a mudroom, laundry room, walk in closet, game room, and an open floor plan. Does that sound like what you're looking for?
Yeah, it does. Can you tell me more about Blue Jay Woods?
Blue Jay Woods is a lovely community located in Holly Springs, North Carolina. It offers single family homes and is a great place to live. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about the community, such as local amenities, schools, or the surrounding area?
Yeah, tell me about the parks in Holly Springs.
Holly Springs, North Carolina has some wonderful parks. Some of the popular ones include Bass Lake Park, which is great for fishing and trails, and Jones Park, which has sports fields and a playground. There's also the Holly Springs Cultural Center Park, which often hosts events. Are you interested in parks for recreation, nature trails, or something else?
Oh, I guess I'm done. Sorry, fell asleep. Now then another example here is is pulling up some information from
Can you tell me if
like
you have any
documents.
promotions for your homes?
Yes, we do have some exciting promotions right now. We're offering a free $25,000 upgrade package where you can choose from options like a chef's kitchen, smart home technology, an outdoor living oasis, or a luxury spa owner's suite. This offer is valid on all new home contracts signed through March 31st, 2026. We also have a limited time interest rate buy down program that can significantly reduce your monthly payments for the first 2 years. Anewgo Homes covers the entire buy down fee, which is a fantastic saving. This offer expires on December 31st, 2025. Would you like to hear more details about either of these promotions?
That sounds great. I think I'll schedule a tour. Thanks for your help.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad I could help you. Scheduling a tour is a wonderful next step, and I'm sure you'll love seeing our homes in person. Please let me know if you have any other questions as you continue your home search.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, so you can see how the AI is having a very natural conversation. It's really guiding the buyer, but all along the way, the buyer can, as they're talking, navigate and explore your website and still, still type in things if they want to communicate that way as well. Um, I thought, in my experience with it, it's really a great complement to the AI guided and open-ended self-shopping like we're talking about, but it's also really great for giving quick, informal quick answers. So like if you just have a quick question about something, you can just ask. You don't need to go and have this long, shopping journey across your website and all that kind of stuff. And I think that could be just as beneficial for the online sales counselors and salespeople because they may have a quick question. Hey, do we have any houses or, available on this lot? Or, what's the quick move-in promotion or whatever? They can just quickly ask their AI sales assistant. And it also facilitates groups shopping. So like nobody wants to be the one that's designated texter, typer. So now if you go to a sales center, you can just have a conversation in a group setting and maybe the your 8-year-old daughter can ask about, the dog park or something. And then yeah, which would be great in sales centers and also could be really good in a self-guided tour environment. So now the buyer can not only go on the self-guided tour, but as they're walking, they can ask questions about the community, the lifestyle, the amenities. Um, like I said, dozens of languages and voices. So if somebody speaks Spanish or different culture or whatever, they can speak to whatever appeals to them or relates to them. It's a great way to capture those leads and then hand it off to the buyer, like in a scheduled tour and such. And potentially in the future could do some follow up in a voice way, maybe a phone call or such. But all of this doesn't really matter if you can't really track what's going on. Kind of like what you were asking me, Beth, earlier, like how do you know if they're doing, hallucinating, saying the wrong things or whatever? This is where on the AI on the back end is tracking all your conversation analytics. This is kind of a mock-up here because we haven't turned this live. Hopefully, we're going to have our first live website by the beginning of the year, and then 4 or 5 right after that. But yeah, this has performance analytics of how your AI is performing, how many conversation, how to resolve, how many users, the average response time, um, and you can look at by all the builders and our individual ones. All those conversations that you had, everything is transcribed. Whether it's texting, you're clicking on things, you're typing things. I mean, you're talking. All that information is transcribed there. And if you hit the analyze button here, it's actually analyzing each individual conversation um, by like an overview here. So it says this is a first time buyer. Either they can self-announce themselves like that, or you can tell about the nature of the questions, or they're saying, hey, I'm downsizing or whatever. You can say that they're move down buyers or whatever. Um, Urgency, the budget range, the response quality. These are topics they discuss. So AI is actually gleaning from all those conversation what they talked about and also what they clicked on, and what they're interested in: energy efficiency, modern design, whatever. These are some of the key insights: interested in specific neighborhoods and considering these customization options. The sentiment, were they generally positive? Are they just upset? Or they're frustrated? It can kind of tell by the way they're talking. Um, a lead analysis. They're evaluating each of these leads, maybe based on how many times they've been there, what they're asking about, medium likelihood, lead score 7 out of 10. These are lead indicators. It even gives itself an are the human, are the next AI, the conversation, the recommended next steps. Follow up with an email offering a personalized consultation, provided list of available homes with customization options. Really interesting customization. Um, and then it's self-evaluating itself. That's where it's getting to this AGI, where it's kind of learning from itself and interactions. Response quality assessment. AI provided clear and concise information about the pricing and availability, effectively address the customer's questions, offer additional details. The strengths, here are the strengths, here are the areas for improvement. It did not ask about the customer's budget or timeline. So maybe next time you got to go ask about that. So it tells you how it can improve itself. Um, what it also does, every buyer comes in there is assess the buyer's profile. And based on that, they have lead scores, whether they're hot or they're not. And it tells you, based on how many conversation messages they've had, how many plans they looked at, how many communities, how often, what things did they actually want to do next? Did they save any preferences? So you can see where they converted, or they validated as not or as a serious shopper, not a competitor, all these other things. So, and kind of gives you this overall score chart here. Um, Intent recognition is very important. The one nice thing about having a conversation is you have your ears to the ground here because the buyer can express what they want. You're not having to guess. They're expressing their needs, their wants, their desires, their constraints. And then actions speak louder than words because what they express, is that what they actually clicked on? Is that where they actually went? Is that how long they actually stayed there? So how they expressed it and how they reacted and how they acted and then reacted to your prompt as the AI, saying, hey, would you like to look at this? Or I recommend that? And did they react to that? So that all this stuff, helps understand intent. And so what this does is looking at all the conversation, and these are the intents that is detected. And so right now it's in 7 categories. How many search by features, how many search by location, pricing, tour requests, community information, quick move-ins, timeline questions. So you can have more and more of this stuff. And now you can see what's the most popular way people are shopping, and you can address that, and you can look at it at the top the last 7 days and all across all assistants. So one thing we hope to learn is from our school of hard knocks, in a sense, Robin may be a better AI assistant than Maggie. And why is Robin doing such a good job? It's like we evaluate humans. Oh, Maggie, maybe you should pick up a few of these skills. Maybe you should get that master's program from this expert. And oh, that was the difference. User insights. So one of the things we want to look at is overall user insights. How engaged were they? What's the how return visits? When did they engage? What day? How long? What's the response time? The demographics. Um, I'm sorry, I went backwards. Demographics. Product inquiries, pricing questions, location questions. The time of the day distribution. Um, even global reach. If you have a lot of people from, you know, Germany, maybe you should have German speaking AI. um, Behavioral analysis, geographic distribution, organization types. Some people may be realtors, some may be investment companies. There could be individuals. What are they shopping from? Mobile, desktop, tablets, whatever. You can go on and on and on. Activity patterns, and you know, one of the things that may be interesting is the engagement depth. So if they're 1 to 2 questions, that means they're kind of just browsing. If they're in here, 11 plus messages in their conversation, they have some serious questions or serious intent, and maybe your responses and your actions and your offerings may be different for them. So basically, at the end here, exactly at 2 o'clock is our personal intelligence revolution. I think is happening. We are a new go here with an ecosystem, website, sales centers, analytics, and content. But now we really smartified everything with AI. So we're making a new go with AI, and with this, we're going to connect to all the other AI apps that's having in parallel with us outside of our own ecosystem. So we'll have a end-to-end customer journey that's guided by AI intelligence. And if you have any questions, talk to our AI sales assistant. No, it's Beth. Beth is our VP of sales here, and you can reach her at this number. And if you want to follow us on our podcast, we talk about this all the time. And there's the real Beth. She's not an avatar.
Thank you, John. That was very insightful. Beth, do you want to add a little bit of commentary before we let everybody go?
No, I know we're tight on time. I'm here to help anybody that has any questions. Feel free to grab some time on my calendar, send me an email, call me, text me, and we'll talk.
Perfect. Again, I know we've covered a lot of information. I recorded this, so I'll be getting this over to you guys as soon as possible. Thank you so much for staying with us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.